Shower Posse conjures images of a dark, ruthless empire, a criminal syndicate that quietly built an empire on the backs of violence, corruption, and bloodshed. Originating from the harsh streets of Kingston, Jamaica, in the 1980s, the gang's reach extended far beyond the island's borders, becoming a force of terror in global drug trafficking. At first, they were political enforcers, but as the cocaine trade boomed, so did their ambitions. Their operations were not limited to the back alleys of Jamaica, but sprawled across continents, stretching from the Caribbean to the United States and beyond. The Shower Posse's rise wasn't just about drug deals, it was about dominance. The gang became a shadow that loomed over politics, businesses, and entire communities, with fear as their primary currency. What set the Shower Posse apart from other criminal organizations wasn't just their violent executions or bloodstained reputation, it was their seamless integration into the political fabric of both Jamaica and the United States. They operated like an invisible hand, manipulating systems of power to their advantage, while using terror to maintain control over their territories. In every dark corner of their empire, the Shower Posse's name was whispered with dread. The gang didn't just trade in drugs, they trafficked in fear, turning once vibrant communities into ghost towns where safety was an illusion. The story of the Shower Posse is a testament to the chilling blend of crime, power, and politics, and a reminder of the devastating consequences when those forces go unchecked. To understand the rise of the Shower Posse, it is essential to consider the political landscape in Jamaica during the late 1970s and early 1980s. Jamaica, after gaining independence in 1962, was embroiled in intense political rivalry between two dominant parties, the Jamaica Labour Party (JLP) and the People's National Party (PNP). The violent and bitter political struggles between these parties set the stage for the rise of street gangs that were often used to intimidate voters, control neighborhoods, and eliminate political rivals. In particular, Tivoli Gardens, a poverty-stricken and densely populated neighborhood in Kingston, became a stronghold for the JLP and, ultimately, the birthplace of the Shower Posse. Tivoli Gardens became a battleground where political violence was rampant, and the JLP used local gangs to consolidate their power. Among these gangs, one emerged as the most powerful and influential, the Shower Posse. While initially a political enforcer group for the JLP, their operations would soon extend far beyond the streets of Kingston and the political sphere. The development of the Shower Posse was tied to the broader societal issues in Jamaica, including poverty, lack of opportunity, and widespread inequality. These conditions created a fertile breeding ground for criminal organizations that offered young men an opportunity for status, wealth, and power. The JLP's alliance with these gangs was a calculated political maneuver, but it inadvertently helped fuel the rise of a criminal empire that would one day dominate international drug trafficking. Make sure to like, subscribe, and join our membership for exclusive content and perks. Never miss out on our latest updates, and stay tuned for more thrilling adventures. Lester Jim Brown Coke, the man most commonly associated with the rise of the Shower Posse, was a figure who capitalized on both the political unrest in Jamaica and the burgeoning international drug trade. Born and raised in Kingston, Coke was deeply involved in the violent political struggles that defined Jamaican life during the 1970s. As a trusted enforcer for the JLP, he gained a reputation for his ability to intimidate and eliminate rivals. However, his ambition stretched far beyond local politics. Coke's ability to expand the Shower Posse's influence was not limited to the drug trade. He also extended the gang's reach into arms smuggling, extortion, and money laundering. The proceeds from their drug deals were funneled through legitimate businesses, particularly real estate, which allowed them to launder the vast sums of money they made. Their success made them one of the most powerful and dangerous criminal organizations in the world. The Shower Posse's operations were defined by a brutal and ruthless approach to crime. The term shower in their name was not just a reference to their violent reputation, but also to their signature method of execution, a shower of bullets, designed to leave their victims no chance of survival. This method of execution quickly became synonymous with the gang, amplifying their fearsome reputation across Jamaica, the United States, and beyond. The act of spraying a victim with bullets was both a symbol of their power and a warning to anyone who dared to cross them. Violence was not limited to just executions, it was embedded in every aspect of the Shower Posse's operations. The gang utilized extreme brutality to assert control over both rivals and subordinates. Rival gangs who attempted to encroach upon Shower Posse territories or challenge their dominance faced immediate retribution. Drug dealers who did not pay their dues or failed to follow the gang's strict rules often met a swift and deadly end. The Shower Posse made it clear that disobedience was not tolerated, and their tactics ensured that fear permeated the drug trade, ensuring their supremacy in their chosen markets. The culture of violence extended to the members of the gang itself. While the hierarchy within the Shower Posse allowed for some degree of internal structure, anyone who violated the gang's code could find themselves facing lethal punishment. The low-level offenders within the organization were also subject to swift retribution for failures or perceived betrayals. The Shower Posse made sure that every member knew the price of disloyalty. This ruthlessness was not confined to mere violence, it was also a cornerstone of their control over drug distribution. While Colombian cartels supplied the cocaine, the Shower Posse controlled its flow into the United States and throughout the Caribbean. They maintained a strict monopoly over the drug trade in their territories, ensuring that no one could operate without their approval. Their dominance was felt not only on the streets but also in the political and economic systems of the regions where they operated. Their ability to instill fear into local authorities and rival organizations allowed them to thrive and expand their empire for decades. As the 1980s progressed, the Shower Posse's reach expanded far beyond Jamaica. Their operations spread throughout North America and Europe, making them a truly international criminal enterprise. In the United States, they became particularly entrenched in New York City, where they gained control over the cocaine distribution networks. The gang's influence spread to other cities like Miami, Detroit, Los Angeles, and even Toronto. In New York, the gang was known for its ability to smuggle and distribute cocaine efficiently. They worked with a network of corrupt businessmen, low-level criminals, and drug users to push cocaine into the streets. Their operations were so successful that they became an essential part of the U.S. drug trade, providing cocaine to some of the largest dealers in the country. The gang also established strong ties with other criminal organizations, including the notorious Italian mafia and street gangs in the U.S. These alliances allowed the Shower Posse to broaden its operations, making it even more difficult for law enforcement to dismantle their networks. The gang was not only involved in drug trafficking, they were also heavily involved in money laundering, arms trafficking, and even counterfeit currency operations. By the early 1990s, the Shower Posse had become one of the most powerful and feared criminal organizations in the world, with operations spanning multiple continents. Their ability to operate across borders, their deep connections with other criminal organizations, and their ruthless tactics made them a formidable force in the global drug trade. The death of Lester Jim Brown Coke in 1992 marked a turning point for the Shower Posse, and his son, Christopher Dudas Coke, soon took the reins of the powerful gang. While Dudas inherited his father's violent reputation, he was a far more calculating and strategic leader. His approach to gang leadership was marked by careful political maneuvering, shrewd business acumen, and an increased focus on consolidating power both within Jamaica and abroad. Under his rule, the Shower Posse not only continued its operations but expanded them into new, lucrative areas. One of Dudas Coke's key tactics was forging strong political connections. He was deeply embedded within the Jamaica Labour Party (JLP), which gave him significant protection and influence. Dudas used his wealth from drug trafficking to secure alliances with politicians who shielded him from law enforcement, allowing the gang to operate with relative impunity. His relationship with the JLP enabled him to continue running the gang's illicit operations, which included cocaine smuggling, arms trafficking, and money laundering. Dudas was known for his cautious nature, often choosing to operate behind the scenes rather than making flashy appearances. However, his ability to orchestrate illegal activities from the shadows made him an even more dangerous figure than his father. His gang's drug routes spanned multiple continents, with shipments of cocaine coming from Colombia and other South American countries and ending up in cities like Miami, New York, and Toronto. His ability to manage these vast criminal operations, while also maintaining his political ties, ensured that the Shower Posse remained a powerful force both in Jamaica and internationally. The Tivoli Gardens Siege, a bloody showdown. The Tivoli Gardens siege remains one of the most violent and tragic chapters in Jamaica's history. In May 2010, Jamaican authorities launched an operation to arrest Christopher Dudas Coke, the infamous leader of the Shower Posse, in his stronghold of Tivoli Gardens, Kingston. The attempt to extradite Dudas to the United States was a culmination of years of law enforcement pressure, as he faced charges of drug trafficking, racketeering, and money laundering. However, the operation, which was intended to be a swift arrest, quickly escalated into a fierce, bloody confrontation that left a lasting scar on the community and the nation as a whole. Tivoli Gardens had long been under the control of the Shower Posse, and the neighborhood's residents were fiercely loyal to Coke. His control was not just criminal but also political. Coke's influence extended to local politicians, and his leadership ensured that Tivoli Gardens was not only a base for the gang's operations but also a community where people felt protected, albeit through fear and loyalty. When Jamaican forces, consisting of police officers and soldiers, entered the area on May 24, 2010, they were met with armed resistance from Coke's supporters. These supporters, many of whom had grown up in the neighborhood and had long been involved in the gang's activities, were determined to protect their leader and defend their community from what they saw as an unwarranted assault. The violence that followed was intense. The standoff lasted for several days, with gunfire exchanged between the police and Coke's armed supporters. The Jamaican authorities had no choice but to deploy thousands of soldiers and police officers in an effort to subdue the resistance. Throughout the operation, the violence spiraled out of control, and innocent civilians found themselves caught in the crossfire. Homes were destroyed, businesses were ravaged, and the already impoverished areas suffered extensive damage. The human cost of the siege was staggering. At least 70 people were killed during the operation, though some estimates place the death toll even higher. Many of the casualties were innocent bystanders, residents of Tivoli Gardens who had no involvement with the shower posse, but were tragically caught in the midst of the violent confrontation. Hundreds more were injured, with many suffering serious wounds from gunfire. The extradition of Christopher Dudas Coke to the United States in 2010 marked a pivotal moment in the decline of the shower posse. Dudas, the son of Lester Jim Brown, Coke, had successfully maintained control over the gang's operations despite the intense scrutiny from international law enforcement. However, the Jamaican government, under immense pressure from the U.S., finally acted, leading to his arrest. His extradition to the United States was a significant blow to the gang, both symbolically and practically. As the head of the organization, Coke was integral to its vast network of drug trafficking, arms smuggling, and money laundering. With his removal, the organization lost its most powerful figurehead and mastermind. In the wake of Dudas Coke's capture, both Jamaican and U.S. authorities ramped up their efforts to dismantle the shower posse's far-reaching criminal empire. The Jamaican authorities, supported by U.S. law enforcement agencies such as the DEA and FBI, launched coordinated operations to arrest high-ranking members of the gang. Many of these individuals, once key players in the gang's drug distribution network, were either captured or killed, significantly weakening the group's operations. In the U.S., several of the gang's associates were indicted on drug-related charges, and their arrest further disrupted the gang's international operations. Despite these setbacks, the lasting impact of the shower posse cannot be understated. The gang's sophisticated drug smuggling routes, established over decades, influenced future criminal organizations that sought to emulate their operations. The gang's ruthless use of violence, intimidation, and corruption, especially its deep ties within political institutions, provided a blueprint for other criminal enterprises seeking to extend their reach and evade justice. The shower posse has also left an indelible mark on law enforcement tactics. The international cooperation between agencies such as the DEA, FBI, and Jamaican authorities showcased the importance of collaborative efforts in tackling cross-border organized crime. The lessons learned from the shower posse's operations have led to the development of more robust strategies for dismantling drug trafficking networks, including intelligence sharing, joint operations, and targeted financial actions to cut off criminal funding sources. Though the shower posse's dominance has diminished, its legacy continues to shape both the criminal world and the methods employed to fight organized crime. Their story serves as a stark reminder of the complex relationship between politics, crime, and global trade, and the significant challenges law enforcement faces in combating such powerful, entrenched organizations. The rise and fall of the shower posse represent more than just the story of a criminal gang's dominance over the drug trade. It is a case study of how political and social instability can give rise to criminal enterprises that transcend borders, shaping global trade and law enforcement policies. The shower posse's intricate connections with political elites, criminal organizations, and international drug cartels highlight the need for coordinated global efforts to combat organized crime. As law enforcement agencies around the world have learned, dismantling such powerful and entrenched criminal organizations requires more than just catching individuals. It demands a multifaceted approach involving international cooperation, intelligence sharing, and effective strategies to cut off the financial lifelines that sustain these networks. While the shower posse's reign may have ended, the lessons learned from their operations continue to inform global counter-narcotics efforts. The legacy of the shower posse also serves as a stark reminder of the consequences of unchecked political violence, poverty, and corruption. These factors created the perfect breeding ground for organized crime, enabling the gang to thrive for decades. The story of the shower posse underscores the importance of addressing the root causes of criminal behavior and strengthening the systems that help prevent the rise of such organizations. While the shower posse may have been dismantled, its impact on both the criminal world and law enforcement will continue to resonate for years to come. Their rise to power and their eventual fall reveal the complex, intertwined nature of politics, crime, and global trade, reminding us of the challenges that lie ahead in the fight against organized crime. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and join our membership for exclusive content and perks. Click the box below for more videos on Underworld Icons.